Hey guys, it's Jenny, or other known as Princess of Katie. So, it has taken me a while to do this video because when I first heard about it, I was a little frustrated. Um, my best friend let me know something about a woman who decided that she thinks Disney should not allow couples without children into the parks. And I was like, okay, that's one person. It's not a big deal. Well, problem is, then a writer in New York kind of backed her up on it. And that made me very, very angry. And I did not want to come onto my channel and rant and rave and, you know, be not PG because I was pretty livid. This is not something I take lightly at all, especially now. Some of you who have stumbled upon my channel, hi, welcome. Hope you like what you see. Hope you come back. But those who do know me, then you know that I'm an ex-cast member. And I started out at Disneyland and went on to Disney World. So I have real thoughts on, should people come in without children or not? And I think absolutely. Disney makes it absolutely positive for couples to come. I mean, they have honeymoon packages, they have wedding packages. I mean, my husband and I are going on the Disney cruise in February. We're renewing our vows. I mean, if we could have done the wedding in the first place, even though he was not a big Disney person yet, but I got to him. Definitely got to him. He, so, but I was too sick to do it the first time around, so we're doing it for our 15th wedding anniversary, and I think that's perfect. Plus, my mom gets to come and see the Disney private island. And here's the other thing. Okay, so the private island has an adult only section. The cruise has adult only sections. Like, you cannot come into these areas unless you're 18 or above. So I don't understand it. I just listened to Walt's opening speech from 1955. Oh, I know. Mom was gonna tell me what year. I'm quite aware of what year Disneyland opened.
The year I was born.
Yep, because it was the year my mother was born. So so I definitely know that. But he said, "Welcome all." He said, "Welcome families, welcome all. This is the American dream. I want this place to be imagination." And he wanted it for everybody. It didn't matter if you had kids or not. I mean, when he opened the his first park, which was Disneyland in California, unfortunately he was not alive when Disney World opened. He opened the 33 Club, which some people know about and some don't, but it's this secret club that you pay a ton of money to be a part of. And it was the only place to get alcohol, but also it's an adult only place. Like, you can't take children into there. So my thought on this is, I understand the frustrations that people have when they go to the parks, especially if they didn't do their research and they go at a very busy time or a hot time, or they've got a young child and, they're not getting, you're pushing too hard and trying to see everything. And trust me, that's not going to happen. Maybe at Disneyland, but definitely not at Disney World. Don't even try. You just don't make your time miserable by trying to see everything. You pick out what you want, and then if you get to see it the other stuff, great. If you don't, then it's okay. But you pick out the main stuff. Like, if I went back right now, my only goal would be to go to Batu, which is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And I would probably not want to leave. Like, I think everybody would have to pull me away and say, no, no. But anyway, so this woman wrote an article about how she thinks millennials without children, and no, I'm not a millennial. Yes, my husband's close to being one. He does not like being reminded of it because he's only a year off. If he'd been born a year later, he would be a millennial. But we don't have kids, and we love going to Disney. We have had kids with us, and it's a different experience. But we, I spend so much time in the hospital. I spend so much time being sick. And my husband has his own issues that we've talked about sometimes on my channel. And Disney for us is an escape. I think for a while it took my mom realizing that was how we relaxed. That was how I got through my next treatment was, oh, we're saving money for this next trip. Because I'll be honest, sometimes my treatments are very depressing to me and I need a goal to get through it. And so that's what my husband and I have always tried to do. We don't always do it. Our goal had been trying to go to Disney, every 2 years and alternate parks. That doesn't usually happen. It's usually every 3 to 4, but we know it's expensive. I know it's expensive. I know this woman paid a ton of money to be there. And I know she was griping over, I think it was her son was crying because he wanted a pretzel, and I think he was 3 or something. Look.
Well, what happened with the millennial then?
Oh, there were millennials in front of her.
Oh.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me.
What if there's a person with kids in front of her?
I guess she wouldn't have complained.
Okay.
Her thought was, and she even said this, which makes no sense. So in her rant, she says Disney should stop allowing adults without children into the parks and give families with children front of the line passes. Well, how would that work if you don't have people who don't have children? It just doesn't make any sense to me. You've now kind of like that. No, absolutely not. I'm sorry. Do your research. Don't go in August. It's hot. It's sticky. It's gross, and it's the most crowded. We learned that the hard way in 1996, when Disney World turned 25. Disney is for children, but they also cater to adults. They have Disney made Dooney and Burks. I have a couple. I don't have one with me or I'd show it. Luggage Fly, which is also a nice, expensive little brand. My Tatooine purse. They obviously do cater to adults too. You're not going to go and spend $75 on a purse for your 10-year-old. And if you do, well, fine. But I just don't see it. I know I wouldn't have cared to have a purse like this at 10, or even the first time I went, which I was 7, almost 8. I was more interested in stuffed animals and t-shirts. But I enjoyed going with my husband. I have a friend that's there, just came home, that went without her husband for the first time and left her kids at home. Yet her son was with her the last time they went, and he's not quite a year. But I'm okay with that because they go back a lot. And my issue is people who are going and taking children that aren't going to remember, and it's the only time they're going. Why don't you wait a year or two? I'm not, so they remember it, and it's magical for them too. my other point would be, hey, why don't you go back to the hotel and take a nap or go swimming or something? I take a break every time I go. My husband heck, we take breaks when we're on the cruise. We come back to our cabin and take a nap, and you're on a cruise. The other thing is Disney does these marathons, and those are adults. I mean, you have to be at least 13 to do a marathon. So I just don't understand why people think that Disney is just for children. Because there's throw rides. I mean, I got was he 70 at the time? Grandpa?
2000?
2000, yeah.
Yes.
So my 70-year-old grandfather got on Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster. I think we did Space Mountain. And then we went to another theme park in Orlando. Yeah. And he did the Fearfall. So I'm not going to say what park it is, but
you can guess.
You can guess. And I'm not even saying the full title of it because it'll give it away. But it's a comic book character. It's an evil comic book character, but it's called blank Fearfall. And you just shoot up and come straight down, and he was 70 years old. The guy rocked it. I don't know if Mom has anything to say. I know she's been to the Disney parks quite a few times.
Yeah, I went to Disneyland, I think in 63. I was pretty young, it would have been about 6 or 7. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It was very magical for me. And I also have been to the Walt Disney World complex several times, and I always enjoy it when I go. It's a lot of fun, and I don't see any reason why a person that doesn't have kids wouldn't enjoy it. It's just it's a fun thing to do, and I in fact I'd like to go back. I'm 63, and I still want to go back. So
well, we gotta go see Pandora.
Yes, I want to see Pandora.
And I want to go see Batuu, Galaxy's Edge.
Absolutely.
So it will happen, and there's the other park that I mentioned that we also want to go to because they have a land that we haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I asked Mom about it is because Mom did go to Disney World with a child, with 2 children actually.
Yes.
My cousin, she was 9 at the time. She just turned 9. We went in the summer, and we're 18 months apart. So there's just a few months where she's actually 2 years older than me. So I was actually 7 at the time. She goes, no, you weren't. You were 8. I'm like, no, we didn't go before my birthday. So my mom had to deal with us in the parks, and I'm sure it was fine. I'm sure okay. I do know I got in trouble. I actually got sent back to the hotel room because I was misbehaving one of the days. But other than that, I think we all had a fun time, and I think I was just cranky and tired, honestly.
Well, that's what you do when your child gets cranky and tired at the park. You take them back to the hotel and rest.
Yeah, and that's what we did. I think Mom stayed in the park. I think Meemaw stayed with me, which is my grandmother.
Yeah, she was tired too.
She was tired too, so we went back to the hotel room and took a nap. And then I was allowed to come back into the park, and we did. And I think that's the way, like when you're taking kids, that's how you should do it. I know I don't have any room to talk since I don't have kids and I can't have kids, but I think it's ridiculous when Walt obviously wanted everybody to be able to come. He wanted, and he even said this, he wanted to bring out the child in everyone. And when I think of Walt Disney, I think of Peter Pan. Because Walt Disney was Peter Pan. I mean, he just never wanted to grow up. He was already working on the Florida project when I think Disneyland was only 10 years old. Unfortunately, I'll give y'all this little tidbit because most people don't know which parks are which. So Disneyland was built in 55 and it is in California. It's in Anaheim, California. Now, Walt's pretty much oversaw the whole project and lived on site a lot. Um, but then he got sick after the park had been open for a while, and he called in his brother Roy O. Disney. And he's his older brother, and he had retired, but he said, "Could you please finish the Florida project?" So that is why the Florida project turned into Walt Disney World, because he wanted to honor his brother's memory by naming the Florida park Walt Disney World. And so now it's just kind of a blanketed term because it's Walt Disney World. You have Magic Kingdom. You have, I think they now call it Studios, but in my mind it'll always be MGM Studios. We have Epcot and we have Animal Kingdom, which is where Pandora is. um, so I just kind of wanted to get that out there because I love Disney and I think it's not fair to blame somebody who doesn't have kids on your kid being upset about something or for overcrowding. I get it. You paid a lot of money, but so did everybody else to be there. Um, you know, it might be their only, yeah, it might be their only time to go too. So you have to remember and be polite. So for everybody who is already subscribed, thank you. If you don't know me, you like this, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified every time I do a video. I try to do one every Friday night. Doesn't always happen if I'm not feeling great. That's about it. I just want to make sure that y'all don't go to these people, find out who these people are. That's why I didn't name any of them, because I don't want you to give them hate. This is their thought only on how they feel about Disney. And this is my thought only about how I feel for Disney. I feel that it is for everybody. And you shouldn't discriminate. Remember, comment if you want to leave a comment on anything and you want me to explain, like, I don't know, my time working for the parks. Just leave me a comment. I can do a video on that. And remember, keep it kind. And you guys stay enchanted. Thanks.